We're back. I'm glad to be back. I get four lovely minutes with these
4 minutes.
4 lovely minutes with Bruce, Rick, and Jane. They sing songs. They do everything. Right. We're gonna have to do the outtakes.
Peter,
we're gonna
Paul,
have.
and Mary.
We're gonna have to
like 4 minutes.
We're gonna
sit
have
here for 15 minutes.
Well, we're gonna have to do a whole show of outtakes. Anyhow, I'm your host, BKP. It's time for the All-Star Political Panel. Glad to have Bruce back, Rick, and Jane here this morning. Happy 5th of July. And, you know, a lot of people asked us last week, you got to do a show, And, you know, I have to tell you, I walked up and down through here yesterday, handed cards out to people, talked to people about the show. We may have visitors from other states this morning that are actually tuned in that were very nice people up and down the parade route. But okay, so I'm wondering what we're going to talk about, and then I'm really like, that's a joke. I know all of us, so what are we going to talk about? I would say this, and then you guys could take off. I mean, I said in my opening couple minutes was, I don't want to get into the very, very ugly words that I would probably spout or go somewhere I shouldn't when I bring up Colin Kaepernick. I mean, there's no need for me to do that. We know how I feel. I know how most of you feel. I don't want to get into, you know, bashing me personally on how I feel about Nike. I have nothing for them.
I will never wear Nike.
I got it. But I'm going to say, in all due respect, as they say, right? The good side for me on this is I think a lot of Americans really took the time to look up the Betsy Ross flag. 2 weeks ago, not that we wouldn't, and not that, see, this group, we understand it, we get it, and I hate to say it that way, we get it, but 2 weeks ago, would we be talking about the Betsy Ross flag? Would it be all over? Would it be a major education? Would you have people today that say, if you walked up and said 2 weeks ago to a lot of people, what are the 13 stripes? Why is there 13 stars? You know, you would have one of those jaywalking moments. I don't know. That seemed to be the number. They ran out of yarn or what? You know what I'm saying? Seriously, right? You agree? But now so many people have really looked into the Betsy Ross flag. That is, I guess I'm going to say, the upside that I like is that the Betsy Ross flag has gotten the true exposure that it should have. Due to, we've taken something bad for me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Social media blew up over it. Now people are angry with Nike. People are angry with Nike. They're angry with the other fella. But social media has blown up with the Betsy Ross flag, and I think it's amazing. So, what say you? You want to start with flag controversy?
I really don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about Kaepernick.
I didn't even say his name. Why'd you have to go there?
I think he's totally irrelevant. I don't understand why Nike would kowtow to a protester like that. If there was the perception, I think, that they had that it might unintentionally harm somebody's feelings.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to the point of everyone, you know, so trigger happy on social issues that, you know, maybe might be offending someone. I mean, it's crazy.
I called my son the other day, who works for a competitor.
Right, absolutely.
Competitive brand.
Right.
Mizuno USA.
He shot. Are you getting ready to promote your new?
They make running shoes, and they make great ones. They sponsor the Peachtree Road Race.
Rick's getting ready to do an ad spot that I'm very okay. I endorse his ad spot.
I said, son, you guys need to make a Betsy Ross shoe. He said, Dad, you can't believe the phone.
Ring it off the hook.
Please make a Betsy Ross shoe. We'll buy every one you can produce.
And make a better looking one than Nike, because it was a pretty ugly shoe.
It was terrible. It was an ugly shoe. Maybe
go with
that's
it.
Why they took it off the market.
I see it getting ready, so go.
Girl. What if it was all planned?
Well, yeah.
It was a publicity stunt.
Right.
Because this guy that starts with a K, I'm not going to say his name. What power is it? Why do they care if he calls them? I mean, this idiot calls Nike hey guys, I think you
So
better.
you-
He's on the payroll.
I like what Jane. No, I like where
know,
Jane. I
but
like
so
where Jane
what?
just went.
But
See,
so what? I mean, it's caused this uproar, and then they had other people come in. I wish they would make a shoe. By the way, can you get me a discount on golf clubs? I need new ones. I really, and then Mizzou is good. So I know. I think this is all. But listen, whenever Nike took Michael Vick after, whatever you think about him, he did those horrible things to those puppies, and they took him back. I said to my grandson, who's decked out in Nike every other day, I said, I will never wear another Nike article of clothing
Get him out of the house
touch
now.
another Nike thing in my life, and I haven't, and I won't. And I think it was all planned. It was all rigged right at the 4th of July. I mean,
You know, there's something to be said about that. Wouldn't you love to see what the actual production numbers of those shoes, and do they exist somewhere? Because this stuff just doesn't come off the shelf. This is a long process. And
Yeah,
if
they're
there's
already all made.
exactly, if there's a manufacturing,
Vietnam.
yeah, exactly. If they're already manufactured, that means that several containers have already hit this shore.
I like what Jane. I like what Jane say. I want to interrupt you. Is that where you're going?
Yeah,
I bet you can't
because
find any
I would
either.
love to know if they produced a half a dozen pair and then they do this big. Oh my gosh, we're not going to introduce these, or are they actually in some stores and they were selling them and now they're on eBay for $4,700 a pair, like they claim.
They said they're.
So
My thing is I like what Jane brought up. Is it possible this was just an all a marketing setup? Is it
Probable,
possible?
I think.
I don't know, but I like what one of the major newspapers wrote or put a headline up. Nike. What is Nike's in-kind contribution to the Trump campaign? Because that was big. It said in-kind. How big was the in-kind contribution to the Trump campaign did Nike make
They need
by
to send
just
them a
doing
thank you
that?
letter.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Shoes, I've seen the posting. I see the ones you're wearing. I have seen New Balance, Converse. Somebody posted yesterday. It was awesome. The Chuck Taylors with the red, white, and blue and the stars. It was awesome. So my fear in all of this is the erasing of history. Yeah. Our history is just what it is. It's our history. Regardless, you don't have to like, but it is our history. Our children need to know the history of the country. Good, bad, ugly. We have some ugly history. There you go. It's not, but it's our history.
Every country has ugly history.
Right.
Every place on the earth does. And the fact that they think they can get away with this, and they are getting away with it, that's the terrifying thing to me. I mean, it is. The kids aren't studying it.
They won't get away with it if we, the people, will use our demand our tax money not be used to these purchases. Let me just say this quickly. I'll move the subject along because I follow everything when it comes to the school systems and stuff like that. And I'm not knocking our local. This is national. So Nike, these places Nike goes into schools, because when you go to schools, you have some are multi-million-dollar sports programs in these high schools. Okay? Yep. All right. They go into schools and they go into colleges. But big is high schools. You got cheerleading, you've got girls softball, you've got baseball, wrestling, you name it. Okay? And they make an effort to sell those major packages, and guess what? Shoulder pads, everything, your tax money. They sell those. Then they want the kids to go to the store and buy the one pair. I will say this. If we start, I'm not a big, boycott. I'm not a big person on that. But, wait a minute. What I'm saying is I will. I don't yell. I do boycott products. I won't buy products. But I don't yell it. But if we think yelling on social media, don't buy that Nike shirt anymore, not that you're wearing one, it won't work. Mm-hmm. If you don't go in, we'll use, in Georgia, we have county. We got a lot of big cities, but let's just say the counties. And it's not that these people support this, but your county, we're sitting in a county now that has a park and rec system. It goes through your tax money.
Yep.
All right. So if you go and tell your elected officials, you will not stand for your tax money purchasing Nike products, that's when you will change Nike, and that's when you will change they don't give a rat what you think, because the kids in school don't have a problem with the K. They don't, whether you know it or not. It's not a big deal with them.
Yeah.
You got to stop that. If you think not buying a pair of shoes changes it, won't happen. That's my opinion. You got to go demand our tax money can't be spent there. I want, there's a lot of products. There's Under Armour, there's Mizuno, there's Reebok. There's a lot of good products out on the market, but Nike does not have to have it.
Yeah. But they do a great job marketing. So these kids get
that's exactly right.
Swoosh in their mind and all that.
That's exactly right.
And they think that gives them a little bit of a competitive edge, and that's how they market this stuff.
I'm not gonna say who it is, because the person is actually a great person, really a great person. But it's a constitutional officer. I'll say that, and our tax money pays their budget, and in the constitutional officer's office, a lot of the people wear polo shirts, embroidered polo shirts, and they buy them from Nike. And I called the individual and I said, actually before I got to going, the individual already knew why I was calling. I know, you're going to start on me.
They don't get real polos?
I said, I do not want to see Nike shirts with my tax money. I get it. Now, we can't just go through them. We got a lot of money in those, but I get it. I promise you. So that's what we got to do if we want to affect Nike or send the message. I'll move on from that, but go ahead.
Well, here's where we are now, though. You have, let's say that we said that and we did that, and then we okay, I'm going to start wearing a red, white, and blue flag. I'm going to stand up if I were a person who mattered, that people could hear me like the K person, and be patriotic and talk about being patriotic. Going out on the street and talking about it, you get beaten up. Do you see the difference? They can come out and do whatever they want to do,
Absolutely.
but if we wanted to stand up,
Absolutely.
look at Oregon, and so it's kind of now it's at a point where it's not equal, because those people are dangerous. Not saying we shouldn't do it, but there's a lot to think about with Antifa. I mean, that is serious.
Yeah, but going back to your opening, Independence Day and keeping the history alive. That's why there should be more parades with tanks and jet flyovers.
Jeez, we learned something too
Let's
the
move
other day
there.
that we didn't.
What?
We learned something that the mainstream media said never happened before. All of a sudden, they're showing all of these black and white footages of tanks coming down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we really did have some military parades every once in a while.
Yeah, you're exactly
What
right.
a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
Let's shift to the celebration yesterday. We'll go with that, and then I want to get our crisis at the border. Want to discuss that, so I don't want to get too far. But let's shift to the celebration yesterday, and my concern with the movement of our, erasing of our history. My concern is that our country has moved to a point to where we don't accept a president of the United States, forget names, a president of the United States celebrating this country. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. I will have to say, if any president of the United States would have done what Trump did yesterday, never referred to himself, never said I or me, and did basically word for word for what happened yesterday, I would come this morning and say that president celebrated our country, and that's it. And he's our president, like him or not.
Yeah, and I think you're wrong though in saying we don't want that, or I think the media doesn't want that, and the Democrats don't want that a president would stand up.
No, I'm not saying we don't want it.
Well, you sort of like
But-
the way
no,
we're
but some-
getting away from it or something.
No, we are. We are.
I don't think the man on the street is. The man on the street.
Agree with you. Agree with you. No,
likes what
I
happens.
agree with you. I think you're right.
The media
please,
doesn't-
why the camera's ever rolling? Don't say I'm wrong.
The
That was tough. That's hard.
the
I'll have to
media
deal with. Glad you're back, Bruce.
I've been on the road a lot.
On the road. All right, go Rick. Go Rick.
The media doesn't like the parade for one reason and one reason only. because it's Trump's parade. Trump was the one that brought it to the forefront, and he was the man standing at the podium. That's
Did you
why
see
they
the
don't like him.
pictures of how many people were?
Oh,
my
We're
God.
trying to get a number, and we
I
haven't
thought
been able to find
I
one
was
yet.
waiting for Forrest Gump to come walking across that reflection pool with the. Anyway,
Yeah.
That was awesome. And I will say this. No, I agree where you're going, because I can say, you know, I come up every year and I do the pictures right here on the street. It's like I was telling Dr. Whaley, I could assign that to somebody. I mean, we got a couple people I can say, hey, 4th of July, your assignments, take parade pictures and put them online. I come myself for a reason. I enjoy the parade, and I do. I walk up and down the street, and I say hello to so many people, like if they're sitting here, where are you from? And I talk to probably 40, 50 people as I'm up here throughout the morning. Mm-hmm. And you are 100% right. The man on the street is not accepting that. I agree with man and woman. We're going to go that, okay? They're not accepting it. But the media is doing everything. Like CNN opened up this morning with, trying to remember the quote, but it's pretty. CNN says, Trump gives a unifying speech from Trump's unifying speech from a very divisive president. Like, yeah, that was the that was the
that
line.
has to be a
Can't
qualifier.
say
No, that
anything
was
good.
it, and that's what they said.
They do qualify anything good they say with the negative.
Yeah, it has to be a
or two
negative qualifier.
We said
attached
this
to it.
before
They
the
can't-
election. It was going to be 4 years of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, you're on a roll, man.
We said it. I mean, we said
I
it
got
3
it.
years
I'm
ago.
good. I'm good with you.
Yeah.
Keep it going, baby. Where was he at? We needed to talk about where he was at.
There were some
yesterday.
great.
It's
there
going to
were-
reach a fever pitch.
You're 100% right. Go. I'm telling you, I'm with you. No, I am with you, Bruce. You're 100% right. You're not wrong. You do not have to back off that, my friend. I'm joking around, but you are right, because we're looking around and say, what the heck? And I'm telling you, America's doing it too. I talked to a lot of people that are not from here yesterday. They're from Florida. Met some people from Brazil. You name it,
Ooh.
and they're wondering what's wrong with the country. Why can't we? I mean,
You know, the thing is, what's wrong with the country? When we were in the parade yesterday in Bill's red truck. So we were coming down this street, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people. There were kids all dressed in red, white, and blue. It was just America, and I sent pictures to my New York kids. I mean, they don't experience anything like that. That band with all those people that were dressed up funny.
playing Louie
I
Louie.
said, this is how Blue Ridge celebrates the 4th of July.
It's small town
and
USA.
a lot of towns are. So we're going to win. We're going to
and
win.
this is being replicated.
Yeah.
I mean, this just didn't happen in Blue Ridge.
What's
No,
going on in
yeah.
Baton Rouge? When
This
we were
happens
I
in
agree.
Nebraska. This happens in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
This
I get
happens
it.
in Iowa. Everywhere. And
like
those
to-
are the people that are voting for Trump. The people that are lining these streets.
Have you seen the numbers of how many watched the Trump thing last night, the 4th of July?
No.
No.
I'd love to see the numbers
we're
on
not.
TV.
Well, it was only on 3 channels.
MSNBC blacked it out.
Everybody
no,
did.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize.
Oh yeah, all 3 major
Who was- who
networks.
was it on?
CNN blacked it out. Yeah.
So it
So
was
did
on-
ABC, NBC, and CBS.
That's
they all-
terrible.
Yeah, they all blacked it out.
I just
There
It
you
was
go.
on Fox.
That.
It was on C-SPAN, and it was on
C-SPAN.
OAS or something like that.
Yeah.
OAS.
Is that what it is? Oh,
Yeah, but I know what you're saying, because I watched it on
can't
Fox.
believe
I
they
just
blacked
turned it
it.
on. I watched it on Fox.
It's the only place you would have found it unless you went to C-SPAN.
Yeah, exactly. They blacked it out. And it was just a celebration. And if you watched it, he never said I or me. He didn't use it politically. He celebrated this country, because what I said also in my opening this morning at 8 o'clock is, you know, it's great that we celebrate our independence, but we need to go back, and this is why I talk about the Betsy Ross flag. We got to remember when that flag was commissioned that they declared our independence. Big difference. It wasn't a celebration that day.
Yeah.
You know, it was. They declared our independence. We celebrate it, and that's what I was
That's
saying
a
is.
great point.
And we
didn't have it yet.
we generally celebrate with our current flag. Okay.
Yeah.
We but if you really get into Independence Day, we probably should celebrate it with the Betsy Ross flag. That should be the first and foremost flag that we celebrate it with, because that's what we use our symbol to declare, right? I mean, you with me?
Yeah, and going back to what you said, I mean, there's probably a segment of the viewer or listening ship out there that doesn't know there's a Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
That's true.
I know
There
you
was
want to
some
read a
great-
portion of this, so I don't want to lose time on that, but I want to go. I want to go.
Before we change, can I just?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll do
There's
that.
some unbelievable op-ed pieces out there about what happened yesterday at the reflection pond, at that setting, and I can't take credit for it, but not a political speech, but a patriotic milestone. I think that really says a lot.
Beautiful. Who said that?
One of the op-ed guys that I read on Breitbart,
okay.
Trump invited us, which is what you said, Trump invited us to celebrate our country boldly and explicitly, something other presidents in the past were too timid to do.
Timid. Let's
Too
go with
timid.
timid.
But if you're not an ABC, CBS, or NBC,
Let's go.
you're never going to know that.
Let's go with timid. That's a good point, because I've been talking about that. That's how they plan to beat Trump, is not letting the word get out. They did last time because they thought Trump was just a novelty
And was gonna get beat.
Right.
Yeah, clown posse.
So they followed him everywhere.
Yep.
Not this time.
But then, all they said 3 or 4 days before, maybe 2 weeks, they said this is going to be about Trump. He's making this about himself. All of that, which was, I knew he wasn't going to do that for just that very reason. But then, think about it. Maybe they blacked it out because that's not what he did, and they knew it. And then they were just going to be called out. Now the people that watch the major channels didn't see it, and they're going to believe whatever they say this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do. They keep portraying Trump as a divisive
Selfish,
president. He doesn't care
self-centered.
about blacks, Hispanics, immigrants, soldiers, or any of that stuff, or first responders. And they keep trying to paint him as just a guy who sits up there and thinks about himself. But he's doing all this stuff. He's with the black pastors. He's with Latin American caucus.
And if you go through the day and you look at what all he does, it does not get out.
Yeah.
I want to go to something else because I don't want to pass this up, and I want everybody's opinion. Bruce, let me start with you. You okay with him stopping and going into North Korea and shaking Kim Jong-un's hand?
Of course.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. You good with it?
Absolutely.
You good with it?
Brilliant.
Bro, all right. So then you take. Why do you think it's brilliant, that move he made
I think it was.
with North Korea?
I think it was done honestly, and I hear he is trying to use diplomacy. Now you hear Obama. Remember when he was coming in? He says, "We're not going to do war. We're going to talk with people." I don't know if you remember.
Well, he's trying
that.
to rebuild America's
But,
image because everybody hates us.
He went around talking and talking, and and now when Trump wants to, instead of just go bomb someone, he wants to go talk with them. And when he says they're my friend and they say he's a monster, listen, you got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. And yes, he I don't know if he's still a monster, but he's killed people. But we've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but
So
this
have
country
we.
has told.
I thought it was brilliant. These people aren't looking badly on Trump, right?
This
I
country-
think it's
this-
I think it's diplomacy. I really think it's
No.
working.
The media, they're all talking about how he didn't get nothing. He just stopped
he's
by to
in
get a
bed
pic-
with them.
Yeah. And he meets with a dictator that kills people. You don't. If you're not watching, don't think there was a kind
Right.
word said about
What's your
that
other
stop.
choice? Bomb.
But we have totally failed there. And I said this week, I did a segment this past week where you got to look at, everybody talked about when Trump came in, our allies, and the fear that we would not be the globalists with the EU that they want us to be.
Yeah.
We've worked so hard to be globalists with the EU. Nobody
That's the
ever
problem.
talks about that southern Asian peninsula there with China, Japan, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Korea. And when Trump took office, remember that meeting in the Oval Office, supposedly Barack Obama said, North Korea is what will keep you up at night, right? Okay? So it's really simple. It might be too simplistic to say, but Kim Jong-un is like the guy that, you got a crisis and you start, you got a hostage crisis because he's got the nukes, and you start calling in the trained hostage negotiators that try to get him to step back off the ledge, get inside. What do you want? You want pizzas, man? Deliver pizzas. But that's basically, all jokes aside, that's basically where I think we're at with him, is Trump had to talk him down, bring him down, don't treat him You know, let me tell you something. People don't like getting patted on the head. Trust me.
I don't think I'd touch his head, but
you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
He wanted Trump to, and Trump's done that. So brilliant. You're 100% right. Brilliant move. And I do think Trump will finally solve something there.
And the other point is, of course, there's linkages with other things going on in Asia. You know, China's like the puppet master behind the scene.
No media is friggin' talking about this. Japan's right here, and here you go, and nobody's talking about China goes down there in some international waters and just says, hey, we're going to build 3 military bases.
Yeah.
We're going to build 3. Obama's administration, China has 3 military bases, islands that they built, that they said, oh, our rich Chinese people are going to go down there. No, it didn't happen.
It's going to be a playground.
All right?
Yeah.
And
now it's a military site.
Now, I think we know here that this South Asian peninsula and the South China Sea, that whole area is a tinderbox that could go off at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime.
There's some more game planning that is talked about an incident between the Philippines and China.
Exactly.
Because they're very contested islands.
And think of this. I get tired of if I'm Trump and I'm sitting next to Putin and I got some dumbass reporter, I am sorry, and they're standing this far away. Mr. President, are you going to tell him not to meddle in our election, please, Mr. President? I would have done the same. I'd look over and say,
I love that.
don't meddle. Yeah, don't meddle in my election. All right. Are you happy? That's the only thing he didn't do that I wish he would. I wish he'd turn and say, are you happy now?
Yeah.
I wish you would have.
Yeah.
Because go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. My theory is, this is a rabbit hole, I guess, but my theory is that the deep state and the people that want war, they want it, and they're egging it on, and there's so much money to be made, there's more control. I mean, they want war, and so they're doing everything they can to provoke it. And Trump, I believe, knows they want war for whatever reason, and there are a lot of reasons besides just they get rich. So it's going to be hard working against all those people. I mean, they're powerful. They're still here. The deep state is alive and living.
What you got here?
Well, this is just a little teaching moment about why kids and millennials don't really want socialism. Why they need to learn why they don't really want. So we can talk about that later, or don't talk about that. You know, I'm interested in teachable moments.
Did Joe and Minka say anything about the?
They're off this week.
Oh,
Are they down in their Florida home?
They're not creating their crisis this morning. They've taken crisis management day off. Okay, so they have children. They have child psychologists.
of course.
Having 10 to 11-year-old children in the detention centers, draw them pictures. And they are running with that as news this morning. The disturbing pictures that the kids in the detention centers are drawing that will psychologically mess these kids up for life. And they actually have, now this is MSNBC, CNN this morning, they actually have professionals analyzing these pictures and what we're doing to children at the, I'm sorry, I knew, I was like, who's gonna?
Hey, we didn't invite him here.
Right.
I love that
We
quote.
did not invite him here.
We didn't send the Evite?
No.
No. George Soros is trying to collapse this country
They came
through
here-
South
We
America.
talked about that the other day,
They
didn't
came
we?
here
Bottom
through their own
line.
volition, you know, and if they're
Bottom
traumatized
line.
by it, so be it.
They got
Yeah.
the money. Listen, you know, they played, I call her the barking dog out a window. That dog was hanging out a window. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They didn't treat me right. I'm a oh, yeah. And then here's what's funny. I mean, there's so much, I hate to say humor because I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for the people. I don't want that. I do not like the situation.
I feel bad for AOC.
But I know what caused it, and we didn't cause that. We didn't put them in that position.
Yeah.
And but the thing that gets me is they're down there and they're saying, this one congresswoman said, as soon as these children realized we were from Congress, they were putting their hands on the glass. Lady, the country they came from has no organized real education. So these kids can't read and write yet. But they realized, they took the class that realized you're in Congress.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on,
the only
people.
class they took was a civics class.
When you sit and watch stuff, you think we're not that stupid.
But AOC is, she can't tell the difference between a water fountain and a crapper. I mean, come on.
You know, they make things up, and the sad part is that they're letting them all come in. They're hyping everything. We're the country that wants everyone in here. They know they're going to create a massive amount of people down there, and we don't have enough place to put them. That's the plan. They knew that was going to happen. They knew what they were going to say when that happened. That's all planned.
It was intentional.
There is. It's like rules for radicals. I mean, there's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. It's all probably literally written down.
I tell you what, I was in a haircutting place. I don't know if they're beauty shops, barber shops. I don't know what they're.
Hairstylist.
All right, I was at the hairstylist the other day. Okay, and there was an Atlanta doctor there, and I was talking to somebody, and we were discussing this. And this doctor from Atlanta in this hairstylist place never said a word. Just let me talk, and the other person. And all of a sudden, he looked up and he said, "It's 1984."
All over again.
All over again. He said, "This was a doctor in Atlanta." Just all of a sudden, he said, "It's 1984."
Did we not talk about that the other day?
We did.
But I mean, I do think. What my point is, I do think. I don't know this individual, but I do know is a doctor from Atlanta, and I keep saying that's redundant. But what I'm saying is, I do think America's about had it. I think we are, because I think you're right when you say I think there's a flashpoint. I hate to put it
So
like
what
that.
happens at that flashpoint?
I don't know.
Bullets fly.
Strife in the streets.
No, I think we're at a flashpoint, because I'm going to tell you something.
They want it to be a flashpoint.
You know, Donald Trump, the American people have to be. My hope is, how about this? My hope is the American people are sitting back and say, you know what? He went out there before the 2018 election. Held a lot of campaign rallies. He told us what was happening with immigration. People told us these caravans were coming, and the media told it was a created fake story, that Donald Trump faked this whole thing for an election campaign stunt. And I think that I'm going to give the American people credit, the majority. They're sitting back now saying, I don't think Donald Trump lied like you told me he lied. I really do.
That's the walk away.
Is that the hope?
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible out there in America right now?
Absolutely.
Out of his mouth.
Like, wait a minute.
Well, it's the same thing.
This guy didn't lie to us.
Remember the 2016 polls? I mean, Trump's going to lose by 5 to
Irrelevant.
7, and all that. I think, polling is like just.
It's interesting.
It's a thing of the past.
Just last night,
it's
part of my
manipulative.
celebration of independence, I watched the returns come in. So I'm just different, okay? I watched the rerun.
One thing that we really we sit here and we talk about civil strife in the streets, and we talk about Antifa versus the good boys, or whatever the name of that group is.
The MAGA hats.
Yeah,
whatever.
But you know what? There's an undercurrent also that's creating this, so that we have civil strife, and that's the same undercurrent that wants open borders, New World Order, one government.
It's all
Medicare for all.
It's all
Free
all the
tuition.
undercurrent that keeps everything festering.
and
If
it's
that
all
undercurrent was
planned.
gone, we wouldn't have this festering at the top.
And Jane,
It's all planned.
I know sometimes when people say we bring up George Soros, that we're just that's
we use him as a generic.
right? But the bottom line is these people in these countries did not have the money, have the ability to organize, have the ability to cross thousands of miles,
Right.
have the ability to move in a group
Find
without
food,
without
find water.
organization,
Without the undercurrent.
right? And we do know that Soros has financed, and it's the multiple shames is you take 20 Democrat candidates, they're prostituting themselves for Soros's money, and they're out there supporting it. It's true, because somebody asked me the other day, what do they do with all the money when they drive? It's theirs. So they're prostituting themselves in the fundraising, and anything they have to do to highlight, oh my God, the crisis at the border. Now, how about this? And I know, Jane, you and Rick talked about it this week. and I mean, you got a reporter. It's not on the main. If his name was Khashoggi, and I'm not making light of that, but you have a reporter, an Asian who is gay. Okay, happens to be
Nigo.
Quilletta, or what is Quillette? He writes for the Quillette. Antifa beat the hell out of this guy.
Nigo.
He's a journalist.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he wasn't even standing
Well, where's
up.
the outcry?
Yeah, where is the public outcry about where's the LGBT movement
Right?
when someone needs them?
That's the foul. That's the hypocrisy.
Exactly.
It's all planned. Listen, if think of it in a smaller venue. Let's take a college. 10 of us want to create discourse. We want to create not discourse. We don't want to have any discourse. A problem. We want to just wreck the college. You go to this fraternity and you tell them this fraternity said this about you, and then you get up the blacks and you say, look what they're doing to you. You just stir it up, and then you say, what else can we do to stir this place up? And you find ways to do it, and that's what they're doing for the whole world, really, the whole world. And it's more invasive than people know. It's a huge plan.
I know we're close on time, and I want to make sure if there's another subject we didn't cover, there's so many. But Jane, we have talked, and just for the viewers out there, we have talked a couple times about doing multiple things where it's more information to try to help, share information with millennials and younger people out there of, hey, this is why you need to think twice about everybody paying for your college education. This is why you need to think twice about Medicaid for all, these kind of socialism. So you did print this out, and I do want to say, I know you said you didn't want to read the whole thing, but what is in here that you really want to share? Because I don't want to leave without doing that.
I had a really teachable moment with my liberal grandchildren that it worked beautifully. So I thought, okay, I want to give people some tools and some thoughts. So how to contradict what they say. So if you have little children, if you have 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, and listen, they come home spouting this stuff from grade school in their own way. They're teaching them this in grade school. You say, all right, you go clean up your bedroom, you fold the clothes for mom, and I'm going to take you to get some ice cream. Great. They go get some ice cream, they come back. Their brother and sister didn't do anything, but they say, well, where's our ice cream? Well, the one that you didn't help me do anything. Mother says, that doesn't matter. You have to share your ice cream with them. You have to go in there and cut it up in thirds. And he's done all this work, and there they are, eating his ice cream. They didn't do one thing. So now, if you get this is a real professor who said he's never failed a student, but he's failed a whole class. The whole class was saying that socialism is great, it works, no one's poor, people are just totally taken care of. He said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll do an experiment in this class. We're going to average the grades, and then everyone will get the same grade when we average it. They were excited. So the ones that study, that go after it, that go get it, they made their A's. The ones that didn't made their C's and B's. Well, the average was a B. So they're thinking, oh, well, it's a B. I didn't even study and I got a B. These idiots are studying. The one studying said, why am I going to study this hard? I made my A, but then it gets dumbed down. So they studied less because there wasn't an incentive. The ones that didn't study. This is a slam dunk. Then the average was a D the next round. And by the end, they were bickering, they were fighting. You should have studied more. And he said, they all made an F and I failed the whole class. And I think that's beautiful. That really happened. But we've got to get into the minds of these kids who only hear the talking points. Are they going to vote us out and they're going to vote them in?
Well, yeah, virtually every teachers union in this country is way left of center.
Right.
So the stuff that they support in classes, either through innuendo or intimation.
They do.
Yeah,
and they're just brainwashing.
Climate change is going to kill us all. Take
take back the schools, take back the country. That
Yep.
simple. Period.
Yep.
Got to move to winners and losers. I know there's so many subjects we have. Bruce, again, thank you for. Welcome back. And I really do. I thank you. I want to stress that. I think you're 100% right. Not 99. I think you're 100% right. I think we're at a flashpoint, and I got a fear of it, and I hope it doesn't go the wrong way. No, I think you're 100% right.
Well, did you see that Antifa thing where the guy, went in and barehandedly, grabbed a burning flag and put it out? I mean, outnumbered 20 to 2 or something like that. So, that's going to expand, I think.
Right.
So, anyway, winners
air balls or whatever you used to shoot.
I'll go with winners today. And home runs and the hole-in-ones. And anyway, everyone in the U.S. who thinks America is great and is going to be greater yet, they're the winners. The losers are the people who don't.
That's beautiful.
Very succinct.
I like it.
My winner is Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby.
Okay, well we got
every Christmas and Independence Day, they come out with an ad, and you can see all these ads on their website if you look at it. But every one of them has one theme: one nation under God, and it takes presidents, founding fathers, Supreme Court justices, Congress, and it talks about how every one of those groups have contributed in some way to recognizing that we are one nation under God. So that was published as they do every year in newspapers all over the country. Full page ads from Hobby Lobby. That's what it looks like. Go to the website, check it out. My loser was a tough call. I had two of them. One of them, the loser that did not make the final cut was Frederica the rodeo clown. This week. Frederica the rodeo clown. I couldn't wait to call her a rodeo clown, and if you want to come after me, come after me like you're talking about doing with all the other people that make fun of the politicians. My real loser was Jessica Tarloff, a Fox News contributor, Democrat strategist. She went off during the outnumbered segment and said, "I'm not a rich woman, but I will put as much money as I have down, and I guarantee you that Trump will make this about Make America Great Again." Not one time, Jessica, did he say it, and you're the loser.
Oh, I like it. Jane?
Well, for me, the winner is, there are two winners. That's Trump and us, because watching that last night with friends, we were singing the songs of the armed forces. I mean, I was feeling something that's building up, and the whole country was feeling the same thing.
Anchors away.
Yep, and I think that Trump has started this revival. That was the point where we're all going to be moving. We're going to be in the streets. I think Trump's the winner. America's the winner. And the loser for me is every day, every week, every month, and the last bit is Creepy Joe Biden. I mean, he
just don't like the nose.
Let me smell your hair.
Is it a wasp? I'm not. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a big wasp.
Creepy Joe Biden.
I mean, I can't stand that man. He's just. Oh, and they keep saying he has a possibility of
his
beating
poll
Trump.
numbers are going down, but he says I still got a big lead.
Anyway,
we did not get into that, but we should have maybe.
I'll take a flyover off of Joe Biden any day, right?
Yeah.
I have three very quick things, and I think I forgot one of them, so it may be two. The thing I have a fear of in this country right now, and let me just say this, and I'll try to condense this. I've spent my whole life in sales and marketing, and there was a time we could talk as a country, okay? We could talk. And we could talk to each other. Now, with what Nike did and what's happening, if you'll notice, businesses are not putting any kind of concern on how much they will lose. They come out all the time against Trump, whether it's a coffee company, whether it's this, whether it's that. And it's just amazing what's going on. And the fear I have, and I use the word fear, we're going to call it 1998. We'll do that. So I take a job in Greensboro, North Carolina. And the largest, now we're talking about a company that's over 100 million in sales a year, and the largest customer in the company lands on my desk and says, Your job is to maintain this account, grow this account. There's still a lot of business we don't have from this customer. But last but not least, don't screw it up. Okay, fine. There you go. That's easy enough. Now, let me tell you about the customer, the person you have to go see. Big Democrat. Absolutely big Democrat. Loves Bill Clinton, thinks that Bill Clinton is God, and he is a Democrat through and through, and we know you're not. Can you handle that? I said, don't worry about it, right? Don't worry about it. That's not a problem, right? So I like to roll the dice when I was doing sales, okay? So I got a customer, no joke, spends $1 million a month. Ooh. Been told not to screw it up. Could be my last day. So I go over the very first meeting and I meet this guy. We'll call him Robert, okay? I walk in Robert's office. I sit down, and I never seen so many damn pictures of Bill Clinton in my life.
Any of Hillary?
Excuse me. Stay out of this. So I never, Bruce, damn it. I never see any more, I've never seen any more Bill Clinton pictures in my life. So I'm sitting in there and I'm thinking, okay, where am I going with this guy? So we start back and forth and we start talking, and we're talking about everything under the sun, from sports to everything like that. And I finally looked at him. I was 20 minutes in, and I said, sir, I appreciate all this time. But I tell you what, you don't know the struggle it's been for 20 minutes sitting in here with all these damn Bill Clinton pictures. I can't take them anymore. Am I going to get the purchase order or not? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I can't stay in this office with this many Bill Clinton pictures. I got the order. I actually got the order. The account grew. He laughed his head off. We became probably, I mean, at that time I was in it, we played softball together. We became really good friends. And every time I went in there, he would joke and say, I put a new picture of Clinton up so you'd be happy today. We did that. And the point I'm making is, it was okay. It's not anymore.
That's right.
It's not anymore.
Right.
And that's the thing that really scares me. And last but not least, I won't get into the other one. We've got to go. We have North Georgia Senior Living. Remember, there's 3 times today, and I like where Bruce went for multiple reasons, because there's 3 times today that we've discussed, or I've brought up, celebrating our independence and declaring our independence. I'm afraid we might have to declare our independence once again from the deep state. And I tell you, this country may be at that point. So I'm happy we celebrated yesterday. I'm on board. You got it? But I think we might have to declare our independence once again in this country. And that's the tinderbox. And by the way, guess who watched yesterday? The world. So CBS, you knocked it out. ABC, you blacked it out. CNN, MSNBC, you blacked it out. But I'll tell you who watched that parade yesterday and that celebration of America. Kim Jong-un watched it. The world watched it. You didn't block that. And President Donald Trump showed the power of this country. So I think he will negotiate different next time. I got to get out of here. We'll be back right after these messages with Jesse Barton, North Georgia Senior Living.